China, known as the world's factory due to its significant manufacturing capacity for the world, is a leading producer of various goods, including electronics, textiles, machinery, and automobiles. Seems like everything in our houses around the world are made in China. And as a major global player in this international trade, with a GDP of 14.34 trillion, since 2020, these numbers have rapidly declined. Now, China has yet to recover from this economic turmoil of COVID, and you probably ask, what is causing this decline and what exactly is making China slump economically? Now, China's growing middle class has contributed to a booming consumer market, making it an attractive destination for international businesses. But before COVID, China was witnessing a demographic decline like they have never seen before. And as you can see in this article by the South China Morning Post, the middle class is getting squeezed along with dropping home prices. Now, before we find out why it's happening, let's touch on a few issues that contributed to this. Now, one example of this is on an economic indicator is new car sales. Now, as reported by Reuters, new car sales have dropped, signaling a second straight monthly decline. Now, what has caused this? Well, new car sales are usually an indication of a growing younger population and a good indicator of economic growth. Now, they are usually the demography that buys new cars, new houses, they have kids, they grow families, they basically spend money in the economy. Now, the older you get, you're probably not going to buy as much because you're going to retire and you don't really have the need or necessity in life to buy so many, frivolous things. Now, we have seen this go negative in China from 2017 to 2020, and this is a reflection of the one-child policy that had dramatically declined. It has dropped about 40% as of January 1st, 2016, and Chinese couples are now allowed to have 2 children. Now, this old rule has been showing adverse effects for some time now. So if you don't already know, in most modern economic systems, consumption occurs when you're in your 20s and your 30s, and it's crucial to have kids, and China's one-kid rule is not helping their economy at all. Now, the second issue in China is deflation. In the United States, inflation was caused by money printing, which was followed by inflation. Now, everybody bought electronics and other items during this pandemic, and they had their stimulus money, etc. So supply chains slowed down and demand was built up in the system. Now, usually it takes about 18 months to 2 years for supply chains to straighten out and inflation to go down like it's occurring now in the United States. Now, this is not the case in China. It's actually doing the opposite. There are no consumption booms now in China like what occurred in the United States, and supply chains have not adjusted. So people are less confident with mounting trade wars, and the Chinese have fewer places to send their products to. So an oversupply of goods and an under demand abroad created this deflationary situation in China. Now, these demographic trends in China are creating a downward spiral of deflation due to deglobalization. Now, Japan is an excellent example of deflation that never recovered for almost 20 years. Now, if we look back at Japan, we could learn a lot from what occurred. Now, in order to try to combat deflation, you can try to reduce productivity, capacity, which causes people to lose their jobs, and then everything slows down. Or government stimulus can pump some more money in and increase the economic engine to try to recover. But China's economy is not the same as the United States, and it's based on investment. So China has pumped so much money into capital projects like super fast railways, bridges, etc., and infrastructure projects, and modern urban development, and also technological advancements, that all these returns will eventually peak and give them negative returns. So more spending really won't help the yuan at this point. So the deflationary tsunami is exactly what happened in Japan in the 1990s, and they have about 20-25 years of deflation. But the difference between Japan and China is that Japan was able to offshore some of their production and had good political relations. Their Japanese citizens were also rich at the beginning of the 2000s. As for China, their population isn't rich. It's a fraction of what the Japanese citizen was, and they are set to enter a long-term recession, not to mention they are much older demographic with no kids. Now, the Chinese regime is so close-lipped that they will not speak of this in public and they're not going to ask for help. And one person runs the show, Xi Jinping, and basically I doubt it will end well. So the Japanese, at least, were able to speak publicly about it and ask for help and assistance when that was occurring. Now, the recovery is a unified event, and I just don't see China mending relations with so many countries to help them survive this major economic issue. Now, if you like this video, check out this video right here.